So, episode 3
of Open for Discussion.
Yes, our podcast. Open for discussion.
I didn't know.
You chose the name and you forgot the name just now.
Yeah, I did.
This is going to be an interesting episode because ADHD is really raging right now.
Even though we're both
fully medicated. Although maybe like newly medicated is I'm newly medicated with a new medication. I'm still definitely adjusting to it since I was without meds for like almost 3 months. So with the Focalin, it was taking so long to get it because it was never in stock in my pharmacy. And so I had an appointment with my psychiatrist and I said, I can never get my Focalin. What should I do? And she was like, oh, let's try you on this new medication. It's called Adzenys and it's new. And the people who go from Focalin to Adzenys tend to really like it. Like it works well for you if Focalin works well for you. So I was like, sweet, let's do it. So it's a box and I wish I had it with me. It's in the other room. It comes in a box and it comes in like those, what are they called?
Like birth control.
Yeah. What are they called? Those, the blister packs. That's what it's called. On the box, you know how when you get a prescription, there's a sticker on it. They stick a sticker on it with like your name and the dosage information and your pharmacy information and all that. So the sticker was across half of the front of the box. And all I saw was Adzenys tablets. So for the first like 3 days, I was so jittery and I felt so sick for 3 days. And I was like, man, I don't know if this medication is going to work out for me. Like this is like the side effects are really bad. They're really strong. I turned the box one morning and they are orally disintegrating tablets that you are supposed to let dissolve on your tongue, not swallow like a pill. But because that sticker was covering up the orally disintegrating part, I was just...
So you didn't take multiple a day, did you?
No, I didn't take multiple a day, but I was taking them the wrong way and it was like dissolving in my stomach. It was fun. I've been taking it correctly for like a week now. I still can't believe that I did that.
So today's topic.
Yes, today's topic. What we're actually talking about is the spicy scale, which is the chili pepper scale, which is the scale by which we rate the spiciness of a book. We've had a few conversations about the chili pepper scale.
I think it's the Chili Peppers, like the band.
Not the Red Hot Chili Pepper scale.
There we go, that's the band.
Just the chili pepper scale.
I might have had sugar before I came here. So we're talking about how spicy do you like your book?
Yes. How many chili peppers? And normally this scale is 1 to 5. The thing is that we have discovered that not everybody's chili pepper scale is the same.
Yeah.
So what is maybe a 2 to me is a 4 to somebody else. So when you're recommending books, how do you calibrate your spicy scale to the other person's spicy scale?
I always start with what have they read or what are they interested with certain, I guess, affairs that happen in these books. So how light and fluffy to like Owl to like Silver Flames. I'm sorry, that one. Because that I think was
It was pretty much the spiciest.
the spiciest, yeah.
Of ACOTAR.
Yeah.
So if I say, oh, that book was a 3 for me, and you and whatever it was for you, then we kind of know, oh, you think this is spicy and I think it's not so spicy.
Yeah.
And you know, like there are people who read like AO3 and fanfiction.com.
Yeah.
And their spicy scale is very different from mine because they are used to reading things that are much spicier than I am. So a 1 for them is probably like a 3 or 4 for me.
I've read some crazy things. So you just look at my book talk and what I used to recommend back in 2021 when I started doing like book recommendations. Some of them just
Extra spicy.
Oh, they're hot.
They're hot.
Yeah, they're like you need milk.
The question is there such a thing as too spicy?
I don't think there is in all seriousness, because I think that it can also go with any type of genre, like thrillers or like a lot of murdering
Like
books.
graphic violence.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I like the advent of the content warning page in books that are very spicy and contain possibly things that your typical reader might be uncomfortable with. I like that there's a page that contains, hey, this is some of the stuff that gets talked about or gets done in this book. And if you're not comfortable with it, this is not the book for you. I like that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you. Like we had talked about alien romance, and I had no idea what I was reading. There's probably a warning page. I never paid attention.
No, but I don't really need to like check myself,
Okay.
but I like that they're there for people who would
Oh,
need to
yeah,
check.
because there's certain things that people are like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this.
Right. If you know that there's something that's going to be traumatic, like if
That's fair.
it, or something that's like personally triggering for you, and you get the chance to read that trigger warning page and be like, oh, this happens in this book really isn't for me, and I'm like glad I didn't start it. And then, you know, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be traumatized by a book. So I think it's like there's not really such a thing as too spicy, as long as you are taking the appropriate measures to let people know, hey, this book is like on a scale of 1 to 5 chili peppers, this is a 7.
So what is the spiciest book?
The spiciest book I've read. Well, I didn't really start reading spicy books until 2024. Remember I said 2023 was my self-help book year?
Yes.
So none of that was spicy. This is embarrassing. It's not a book. I read Nesta and Cassian fan fiction.
How was it?
Very spicy. It was not very well written, but it was very spicy. As far as like books go, I feel like From Blood and Ash gets pretty spicy. The third one is like, yeah, it's pretty spicy.
She does do really good with spice. She always writes for the appropriate reader,
Yeah,
genre that she's in. So I always like that about her. But she can write some steamy things.
there are just some like tropes that happen in that book that are like,
Okay, then let me ask you that question.
mhm.
In the spicy realm, what are certain things that you not read? Like that would just be like,
Pregnancy trope.
you say that.
I can't stand it.
I can't either. I hate the breeding.
I can't stand it.
Hate that.
Can't stand it.
Like I love kids. Like I love being a mom, and but I do not. Why does this character? Boom! That's it. That you're mom now. And
Everything that led up to this point now
pregnancy.
feels like a waste of
A
time,
little bit. It doesn't feel it.
which is not how I feel about real life.
No, not at all.
But when I'm reading a book,
My escapism.
I don't like the pregnancy trope. Not a fan. That's when I don't like. I'm trying to think of what else I don't like.
What do you love?
Ex-boyfriend's dad.
Some of those can be like fine peppers. Yeah.
I love enemies to lovers. It doesn't have to be spicy. We're watching Bridgerton, and I know that they're books and I will read them, but I haven't gotten around to reading them yet. But we're on the second season right now, and it's got such a great enemies to lovers storyline.
Really, she is just elegant and lovely, but has like this spiteful tongue.
She's aspirational.
What's another one? It's Sunshine and
Oh, grumpy.
Grumpy. Yeah, I was gonna say Cloudy.
Sunshine and cloudy.
Yeah, I do love that.
I feel like Twisted Love was a little bit sunshine and grumpy as well. Life is short. Life is painfully short. I am not going to spend my time reading things that I don't enjoy because I think it makes me look smarter. I'm going to read what I like. I'm going to read what I want to read, and I'm going to read things that bring me joy and that improve my life in some way. Right now, that is smut.
Do you want to hear a funny story about Smut?
Yes.
Did I tell you the time that Isaiah
No, we've saved this story.
saved? Okay, I don't remember. I might go. This is last summer, and I was very pregnant. And I was in my office doing my nails, so I had my headphones in, and apparently my phone would not connect to my Bluetooth headphones. They connected to his. I don't know why. somehow they just connected to his. So like for like a couple moments in the audiobook, I couldn't hear what was going on. I'm like, wait a minute, why is this not working? And Isaiah comes upstairs and he's like, what the hell are you listening to?
It went to his headphones.
Yes, but you know how like we were talking about like a chili pepper, like
Yeah.
okay, literally, I'm sitting here like I'm laughing so hard, like almost tears are coming out. And he's like, is this what you listen to? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, but it was not even that spicy.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, my dude, I've listened to
Wait till you
so
find
much-
out.
so much worse than that. Like, you would blush if you listen to what I'm listening to. I don't. It wasn't.
It was,
Like, maybe
would you say it was nothing to sneeze at? It wasn't even that spicy, but it shocked him.
It did.
We know his spicy scale.
very low.
He has a pretty low spicy threshold. I am the type of person who, when I am done reading for the night, I have to turn to him and explain everything that I just read and tell him everything that's happening in the book because I am very annoying. So he like knows. And he has asked me, are there things in the books that you would like us to try?
Oh.
Which is like very sweet. He likes to read. I was going to ask if you've ever like read a book together.
We did. We read a short story. We were supposed to kind of like continue doing that, and then next month, January 2023, we found out I was pregnant, and then
Everything kind of falls by the wayside.
So
We read The Rook. We tried to read The Rook together.
okay.
Here is the problem. He's kind of a slow reader,
Yeah.
and I'm a very fast reader.
Yeah.
And so we were literally like trying to read it together, like sit on the couch next to each other and read. And I would finish the page and then I would just be like waiting. And I didn't mind waiting, but he felt really bad that he was like not done with the page yet because he knew that I was done with the page. And so that was, I mean, I liked it, but I think he was so self-conscious about not
quickly.
being able to read as fast as I could read, which nobody can read as fast as I can read. So maybe you can, but
What spicy books keep you in bed?
I just finished
Now it's right there, and you can't think it's tight. You can see the cover.
can see it. It was 2 books. Divine Rivals
Okay.
and Ruthless Vows. I just finished Ruthless Vows like 2 nights ago,
That's
last
on my
night.
list.
It was okay. The story was really interesting. It was not very spicy, very low spice level.
Okay.
And remember I was complaining about how nobody dies in Sarah J. Maas's books?
Yeah.
Somebody dies in Divine Rivals or in Ruthless Vows. Someone dies in that book. And I won't say who, but I was like, oh man. After I just complained about how people don't die in other books,
Mhm.
and now someone has died, and I'm like,
Where the universe
I
is.
did. I was like, well, this is like she's been through too much to lose another person.
Oh.
Can't believe that.
Author just
I'm so offended.
they die. As an evil chuckle.
And like it was well done.
Mm.
It was a well-written death. But
Listen,
it made me sad.
when Sarah J. Maas in Court of Thorns and Roses series had made somebody almost die, I'm not gonna spoil this. You know who I'm talking.
Yes, I do. I had to censor this once.
Excuse me. I panicked. I was like, "There's no way you did not do this to me."
She didn't.
She didn't, but she.
She almost did.
God, I was like,
She scared you.
crying. Oh my god.
No, you know what? A book hasn't made me cry in a long time. You know what has made me cry recently? The most recent episode of Bluey. When Ellie was a baby, I was not as good at this when Zeke was a baby because 2 of them is a whole other thing. But when Ellie was a baby, we would read one new book and then read this book called All the Animals Are Going to Sleep or something like that. It was like an alphabet book, but it had like all the animals and what they were doing to get ready for bed. And so she and that was like her cue that it was time to wind down and go to bed when we read that book.
We started reading Staring a Little Wolf in Rules Forever.
I love
that book. My mom used to read that to me, so I, of course, like, I had to go find it. And so now I'll read it to him in my voice. I'm like, you turn the page, and you make such a terrible like he'll start.
It is like, but that's how you raise a reader. We got very lucky, I feel, and I have 2 readers.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have any money books, like, or is everything just on Kindle? Like any actual like hardcover or paperbacks or anything?
I think pretty much everything's on my Kindle.
Everything's on your Kindle. 'Cause I have a lot. Now I'm like, child.
And what do you do when the cover is also spicy? We have several different bookshelves. So each kid has a bookshelf in their room. We have the communal bookshelves in the living room, which have like my sci-fi novels,
Yeah, like
and anybody can read whatever's on there.
That's nice to do. I think that's a good idea.
And then we have upstairs shelves as well. These are mom's books and dad's books. Like, and eventually there will be enough interest that especially Ellie will come up and take books off of my shelf. And I know that she will. And that is the time when I will start putting the books that I really, really want her to read on my shelf so that she feels like they're off limits so that she reads them.
Parenting, that's a good tip. Learn how to raise a reader.
How to raise a really sneaky reader. My favorite thing is coming downstairs at like 11 o'clock and checking on her in her room. And she has fallen asleep with a book and her lamp on after I turned off her lamp when I left the room because she thinks she's sneaky reading after bedtime. Aww. Do you remember like when we were kids and you would have library day and they would have those like read along packets, the little plastic bags with the snappy lids, and there would be a book in there and there would be a tape in there or a CD depending on how old you are and how rich your school was. And you would be able to like listen and read the book. And I feel like it's such a good way to learn how to read. It's such a good way.
Because you're able to like see and hear and
visualize.
So it's like, it's all the senses.
I should start getting the audiobooks of my romance books and reading them at the same time as I'm reading them on my Kindle.
I told a friend of mine to do that. She listens and also read Butcher and Blackbird, but she didn't like the female's characters or the narrator for the female. She didn't bother me that much, but I really enjoyed the male narrator's voice. Now I'm just kind of whatever. But that's what she did. She like would read the female's point of view, those chapters, and then the male's.
I guess that's one good way to get around a narrator whose voice you don't really like.
Yeah,
I feel like it takes a really special kind of person to be able to narrate that kind of book too, and do it well.
Zachary Weber. Oh my God.
Zachary Weber.
Yes.
I'll have to look it up. I do think I have always thought that Elliot would be a good audiobook narrator. He has a nice voice. I don't know if he could do Spice. I mean, not that he would be like not that he would.
No, I'm sure.
Not that he would be immature about it.
No, that's good.
But I think he would be like.
It wouldn't be his particular.
He would have to practice.
Yeah.
He went to school for radio and TV broadcasting.
That's cool.
And he had a radio station for a while, or a radio show for a while, not a whole radio station, but he had a radio show for a while.
Cool.
And so
yeah, like
he knows how to like use his voice. I wonder what his spicy scale is. I wonder what his chili pepper scale.
I wonder. We should totally do this on.
We should ask them.
We should have a husband episode.
We should have a husband episode.
And I would love for them to read like spicy. Like, I would love to get a clip of that and see if they
could do it.
Yeah,
see if they could read it. Could I read it out loud? A spicy?
Yeah. Like getting into the book and actually being that character.
I don't know. You would think I would, given my theater background.
I didn't know that about you. That's fantastic.
I have my first major in college was musical theater performance. I have been in a lot of shows. One of the shows I was in college was Rocky Horror Picture Show. You'd think that I would be able to read a little bit of smut out loud. Yeah, I could probably do it.
All right. So the spiciest book that I've read, probably recently was Butcher and Blackbird. But I liked the whole like they're enemies kind of to lovers, friends first and then to lovers. Like it was good. I did like that. The spice on that I'd probably give it a 3. It wasn't until the end where it's like, oh
No, what was I gonna say? I think I was just gonna say that I really appreciate it when authors do their research and you can tell that they've done their research. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is I appreciate it when an author manages to write a spicy scene and it doesn't sound like every other spicy scene I've ever read, because there are it's a very common vocabulary that people use, and it's like we all use the same euphemisms when we're writing a sex scene. We all use the same
So speaking of the same, now, when you hear somebody say growl, what does that sound like to you? Like a little dumb. Like, do you, like on Book Talk?
No, I know.
You know who I'm talking about, like the Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And, The Witcher.
Yeah. It's less that and more on Book Talk, the video of Hosier growling in It Will Come Back when he's singing it live.
It's not bad, but
it's like and adding like the gravel to your voice.
I do love a good gravelly voice to him. Like that.
It also depends on is it he's growling while he's speaking? Like it's
or
it's like a piece of dialogue and then instead of he said, it's he growled. Like, is he growling out a word or a phrase, like a sentence, or is he just growling? He growled, period.
You know who actually does do good narration for a male is Andy Art. She does really well when she does a main character's female's point of view, and then she'll have to the male character is now speaking to the main female character.
Okay.
She does really well with flipping back and forth.
And she's not doing a voice.
No, she's doing the best interpretation for that character.
Right.
As the only narrator. Now, I love a good dual narrator.
I don't like it when it sounds like they're doing a voice. When it sounds like they're
like when I try to imitate my husband, he's like, "What are you listening to?" That's me imitating.
Me, I have no bass in my voice unless I have a cold. So I could not do a male character.
You know what I've actually been getting into, spicy romance?
What?
Plus size main character. Yeah.
Do you have to hunt for those, or are they kind of out there?
No, they're getting easier to find. There's one author I actually follow, and I've read quite a few of her books, and they're quick reads. They're super cute though. Yes, it has some rom-com. She actually is funny, but some of the spice you're like, oh, go girl. Yeah.
We love representation.
Yes. I guess this is time to wrap it up.
Probably time to wrap it up since the dog is nuts.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as we kind of talked about a little bit of everything.
A little rambly, but that's okay. The chili pepper scale, not the red hot chili peppers.
I still keep getting it wrong.
Just the chili pepper scale. And tell us how you calibrate your spicy scale.
Yes, please. And are you a content warning girly or
read the book even if it might traumatize me?
Guys,
I'm Emily, and we'll see you next time.